going to accomplish is making our menu dynamic so we can edit it in the back end of WordPress. So typically for a lot of themes you'll have an option on the side for navigation where we can go in and create new menus, add options to the menu, delete options from the menu, all of that stuff. Right now that's not possible for us with this particular theme, but that's a functionality that we're going to add. I also bumped into an issue myself with not being able to actually interact with and hover over the buttons. I found out that that is a z-index issue. If you remember in CSS, z-index is something that creates sort of a layering system or stacking order. My navigation is currently set to a z-index of 0. So just to bring it to the top, so I know it's always at the top, I'm going to set it to one of 999. But I've got a shadow, a slight shadow from the header box above it. So that's the only element that I want to be on top of that menu at any given time. So in the style sheet for that particular H1 element, I'll set that z-index to 1000, so it will be on top. So let's just check to make sure this works. Alright, so now I can interact with these buttons. That's good. So the way, right now, looking at our code, if we go to header PHP, where we've got our nav, that's all hard-coded in there. I can't edit this unless I have a code editor and I go into the header PHP file to change what these things say. That's going to get a little inconvenient, especially if you're giving this to a client who doesn't know anything about the web or web markup. So what we want to do is make this whole thing dynamic and editable. So to do that, if you're looking at your WordPress notes, this is under the header and navigation near the bottom part. Creating our dynamic menus. So it's actually really simple. You should have opened, if you don't already, open your functions PHP file. This is something that comes with bspace or Starkers to add. This file is used to add functionalities to themes or enable things that are in WordPress, the WordPress system. But to activate those things, this functions PHP file is used. You can also write custom functions if you're a WordPress guru, but we only need to add one line of code in here. So I'm going to add it underneath this add theme support post thumbnails. I'm actually going to copy and paste that because we need the add theme support part. And instead of post thumbnails, we just need to add menus here. So that's our first step. Save that. Now, if we look in the back end of WordPress, hit refresh. Under appearance, we now have an option for menus. And we can see that we'll be able to create a new menu system or edit one. Once we have one, we'll be able to edit one we already have. We're actually going to write a little bit of PHP in our files to make sure our menu system lands in exactly the right place and does what we want it to do. So we're wanting to do that in header PHP, replacing this entire navigation system structure. For me, it's between two nav tags. For you, it might be something else, depending on how you wrote your code, with a line of PHP that generates the menu dynamically. So I'm going to delete that. And in its place, now this is on your notes, so you can follow along there too, if you don't get this the first time. So it's PHP, $PHP, WP underscore nav underscore menu, parentheses, array, another set of parentheses, in quotes, menu, close quote, equal sign arrow, quotes, the menu name. I'm just going to call this one main menu. Close parentheses, close quote, semicolon, question mark, and bracket. And that's our line of PHP. Now this will generate, whoops, going to the wrong browser there. On my page, this should generate the menu dynamically. Now you can see here it does that, good, but it's dumping out a bunch of stuff, and I don't necessarily want all of these things to be part of my menu. So I can go into the back end of WordPress. Mostly the reason it's doing that is because dumbing content created several pages, and this menu right now is pulling all of the pages. Let's see, okay. So let's see what happens this way. I'm trying, in the back end of WordPress, I'm creating a menu with the same name that I put in my code, main menu. Just save that. We'll see if that changes what we have showing up. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted to happen. So by default, you notice in the code, in my PHP where I gave this name here, main menu, by default, if I don't have anything specified in the back end of WordPress, it just pulls all of the pages that I've got. But I only wanted a few pages, so drawing, coffee, about, whatever else. And these are the pages that I have in WordPress right now. I had a few in there to begin with, and you can add here add or remove different pages to this menu, but make sure that the name you give it here at the top is the same that you've assigned in the code. And then you can control exactly which items are showing up in that menu and in what order they appear. So you can drag and drop these things around, make them sub-items of each other, all that stuff. So I didn't make any changes there. I don't need to hit save. That's good to go. The next thing I'm going to do is fix how this is styled. So now, right now, it's generated a list of links, which is what our menus are standardly generated as. But I used a nav object to style or a nav element to style my menu, and obviously that's not the same thing they used here, so the styling isn't exactly carrying over. So I'm going to need to dig in using my inspector and see what they did. To style the menu here. So it looks like they've got a div, the class, menu, main menu container. Very specific, but that's what I'm going to need to use to pass the styling on in my style sheet. So I need this class right here, and I know that this is a div object, or a div element. And then I've got my unordered list with list items and links on the inside. Now, if your style sheet was done like we've been doing with some of the nav exercises in class, these unordered lists or list items shouldn't be too entirely dependent on whatever classes they've got. They've got a ton of them assigned that WordPress uses to differentiate what these things are. But hopefully we'll only need this top level class, and then we can use descendant selection to get to whatever else we need to inside of there. So menu main, menu container. That's a mouthful. So in my style sheet, style.css, I used a nav element with a class of primary. And I also used descendant selection with that same selector for style the LIs, the A, and the A hover state. So instead of nav with a class of primary, this is one reason I like Sublime Text, by the way, is multiple cursors. I change all these things at once. I'm going to have div with a class of main dash menu dash main container. And again, that's a lot of stuff, but that's the class that WordPress is assigning to it, so that's the class that I need to use in my style sheet. And essentially, I just replace the construct that I had used to style the element with the construct that WordPress is using to style the element. So let me class name there. So let's check it out again. Primary, menu, main, menu, container. What did I write? Up. I wrote backwards. It's menu, main, menu, container. Come on now. Alright, there we go. So again, I just replaced what I had used originally to style that menu with what the class that WordPress is using. So you will definitely need to change the styling there. But now I've got my menu with the proper styling applied to it. Looks good. It's doing the same thing it did on my hard-coded page. So we're getting a lot closer. And that is dealing with our menu. We can now in the back end change those options, alter what they say I want these things to be in all caps. I could do that here, like I had in my hard-coded page. I'm going to leave them for now, and that's it. Got that menu done.